A long time ago, in a faraway land, there lived a lovely young princess named Margarita. Her beauty and grace were known throughout the land, especially to Mad Miser, the Dark Lord of the grim Grokken Castle, high in the Forbidden Mountains. He had vowed to make the princess his queen, and so one terrible day, he sent his ghoulish helpers to kidnap her, and she was carried off and imprisoned in one of the 100 miserable rooms of Grokken Castle. News of the kidnapping spread throughout the kingdom, and many courageous young men braved the perils of Grokken Castle in an attempt to rescue the princess, only to become hopelessly lost in the complicated maze of rooms, ensnared in one of the many treacherous traps, or foiled by Mad Miser's deadly servants. Finally, the news reached the worthy Prince Raphael, who had long loved the princess from afar. Raising his sword to the heavens, Prince Raphael swore that nothing would keep him from her side, and set out on his castle quest. The odds against him seemed hopeless, but legend has it that 2 magical fairies have been held captive in the castle for centuries. If the prince can find and release them to gain their help, he may yet succeed in his quest, and to rescue his fair princess, he is prepared to face the deadly wrath of the Dark Lord himself. Now this, viewers, this is Castlequest, from ASCII Entertainment and Nexoft, released in 1989. This is the one. This is the one. See, it's one word, not 2. You understand. This is a sequel to The Castle. We talked about this a bit. Object of the game is to navigate through the castle to rescue the princess. We can push certain objects throughout the game to accomplish progress. In some rooms, the prince can only advance to the next room by aligning cement blocks, honey jars, candle cakes, and elevator controlling blocks. In some rooms, this can be quite time-consuming since the prince can only open a particular door if he can stand by the door, meaning he cannot open a door while jumping in mid-air. The prince must also carry a key that matches the color of the door he intends to open. We can navigate the castle with the help of a map that's obtained from the first room we begin in. The map will provide the player with a matrix of 10 by 10 rooms that will highlight the room in which the princess is located. The player must also avoid touching enemies like knights, bishops, wizards, fire spirits, attack cats, and phantom flowers. Yes. This was released on the Famicom, and the MSX as well. There are some differences between the versions. In the Famicom and NES version, each room is wider than the screen, so this display scrolls horizontally as the player moves. Because of the different room sizes, many adjustments to the room layouts were made in comparison to the MSX version. The Famicom version, the player starts with 4 lives, and the game supports the Famicom data recorder and ASCII turbo file peripherals for saving and loading game progress. When the game was reworked for the US, though, the save load feature was removed as the NES does not have the 15-pin expansion port which the turbo file connects to. However, we have 50 lives instead of the 4 initial ones. They're the 2 magical fairies. Another obvious difference between the MSX and NES family computer version is we can attack enemies with our sword or dagger, only in the NES version and the Famicom version as well. While this attack is limited because the enemy must be very close to the player for the kill to take place, this puts the player at risk of being killed by an enemy, and timing is crucial. The prince can dash to retrieve his weapon on a timely basis, and attacking in the wrong time can prevent the player from launching another attack when the enemy is in the right location to be attacked, leading to a certain loss of 1 life from the player. This, however, is not relevant in the MSX version, since the only way to eliminate an enemy is to throw an object on it or force the enemy to climb an escalator and remain there until crushed, which I don't think can be done on the NES version. I may be wrong. Anyway, Castlequest, very cool box art for this one. We've got like a 3 Musketeer kind of guy standing on some stairs fighting with a knight and some monsters in the background. We've got the very Return of the Jedi-ish looking Princess Leia type figure chained up, and then a big old devil man standing in the back. A couple of fairies floating around being all like, hey, listen. This is a fun game. It is a frustrating game. It is a hard game, but it's pretty fun. I think it would be better if the controls were a bit better. It's kind of a, it's not too bad. 15 people decided that this game was worthy of a 1.9. Another 51 people decided it was worth a 5.4. I would say it's probably about a 5, and that's mostly for the control scheme and the horrible combat. It's once you figure out the timing, it's not hard to kill enemies, but I think there's a couple of them that you just can't kill with your sword. So it's hard, it's unforgiving, it's frustrating. You know, what else do you want in an NES game?